Having a strong east-west connection through our city has been something that, folks have really dreamed of for decades, really. And Danforth had all of that potential, but it hadn't yet been realized.
Destination Danforth is a project that aims to transform the street in a way that supports more modes of transportation, allows people space to safely cycle and walk, as well as maintain the vitality of the Danforth.
All of the BIAs have art components with their colors. There are murals, the traffic boxes have been done. There are beautiful plantings along the bike lane. We have Cafe TO to add to it. It's just the most beautiful transformation.
The city overall has really been hard hit by the COVID pandemic, and what the Destination Danforth project has done has been able to provide more space for businesses to operate on the sidewalk or in the curb lane and really bring people back to the Danforth. Because what we heard when the pandemic first started, what we saw is that people just weren't coming out to their local main streets because of the restrictions in place. And as restrictions started to be lifted, we were able to transform the street to make it a more inviting place to be and a safe place to come out to local business.
I think the biggest challenge during the pandemic is how do you balance your need to run a business with the need of trying to keep everyone safe and healthy. And that's been a huge obstacle for us. And it's obviously been a hard time for us to be running a business and to try and make a go of it. From a BIA perspective, I think one of the challenges was in terms of messaging. What are we saying to people? Our role is to bring foot traffic to the strip in order to support small business. Is that an appropriate thing to do when there's a pandemic going on?
The COVID hit everybody around the world, and we have to shut down the clinic. So it was a big challenge for us as a new business, not really well established, but we need to try to keep alive. So I wasn't sure if bringing a bike line will affect the traffic, parkings, how it will change the Danforth dynamics, right? And then I was really surprised that they put really together the parkings, the bike lines, and not only that things. They at the end have to add patios on the street. And I was really thrilled at how they can put all together and just even look great, no? It's a little bit for everybody. Patios, bike lanes, parkings.
In normal times for summer camp, for example, we would have 40 kids here in a week for camp. But this past summer, with the restrictions that were put on us, we were only able to have 8 campers here in any given week. So it's definitely been a huge change. I've been a big fan of Destination Danforth from the beginning. As soon as I saw the plans, I knew that it was going to be a real improvement for the community. Having the Cafe TO project where restaurants can have their patios now out in front of their restaurants has been really great for building a European feel, and especially in a time when no one can travel, it's nice to have that to see in the neighborhood.
The pandemic is a major blow to our business, like many other small business around the world. Since we are in the restaurant industry, a lot of people are fear to coming to the restaurant because of the virus. You know, weather has been on and off. It's the misery of the summer. We had a great summer. This is definitely a great initiative because since we are not allowed to serve inside, so this is allowing us to serve the guests who, tend to go out and have to have that dining experience. It's absolutely giving them the option to come and enjoy our beautiful patio with a lot of planters and flowers and so on. It is amazing.
One of the key goals of the project was to provide an option for people who choose to bike instead of take transit if they're commuting into the core. And so one of the reasons why the project was extended to all the way between Broadview and nearing Victoria Park was to really mirror the Danforth subway line and provide that alternative to people who can't physically distance on transit and want another choice.
And my ride is about 8 kilometers from Roncesvalles. So basically it's all the way from Bloor to Danforth. This is a good way to ride your bike, keep yourself safely distanced and connect the neighborhoods.
We've been able to work with the counselor in order to get more bike parking right in front of the studio, because a lot of my staff and students love to be able to bike to the studio. It makes it a lot easier for them.
Biking to school used to take me 2 hours, but with the new bike lanes, it only takes about 45 minutes. Now I feel safer on the Danforth, away from the cars and the bike lanes.
I think the other thing that we maybe don't fully appreciate yet is that it connected the city up. You had a connection now, bicycle to Bloor. You had a connection to the east, and it created one of the largest continuous or longest continuous bike lanes in all of North America. It's really quite an accomplishment for us.
Accessibility is always a key consideration when we're designing changes on a street. We've been working on addressing some recent feedback that we've received through removing curbstones at key locations to allow more accessible access to the curb.
I think there's some concern still and some work to be done with respect to accessibility. And a lot of our neighbors, that for them it's a challenge to walk around things, walk far distances, and now it's true there's a little less room. In the end, I think that's the biggest issue, is how do we ensure that the changes are equitable to everybody. I think during this pilot there have been a lot of lessons learned, and I'm hoping that next year they'll come into play.
There was a community consult done, and then within a week of that conversation, the bike lane were implemented. It created accessibility issues, called to the city, and discovered that they had a great policy and procedure in place to deal with concerns. So now we have a ramp, and it's actually a really creative ramp because it meets the cyclist needs by not being an abrupt obstacle. It meets our needs because we now have a flat surface which allows people to come seamlessly onto the sidewalk. It went really well.
Art has been incorporated into the project in a number of ways. We wanted to make sure this project not only transformed the street, but also the entire experience of using the Danforth. There are at least 4, potentially 5 murals coming along, being installed on major walls along the Danforth, as well as a number of utility box murals along the streetscape. And we've also incorporated mosaics into the design of some buffer zones, and artistic curb extensions have been installed at many locations along the corridor.
We are all being asked for the first time to not go out and socialize. It's a pretty dark and depressing time, but we can lift someone up as they go about their daily business on the Danforth, give them something beautiful, that element of surprise and delight that makes it all worthwhile.
This is a large project that we're doing for the Danforth, for inclusivity and showing the ability for the Danforth to survive through trials and tribulations and everything going on right now. The neighborhood has been amazing, so involved, so much so that I've had to put on noise canceling headphones and try and just work some days because they've been so overjoyed and lovely. They've been coming up and talking to me about what the piece means and what it means to the neighborhood to see some more color around.
monitoring this project very closely. We're looking at vehicle travel times, we're looking at the economic impact, we're looking at the safety performance to be able to make modifications and really optimize the way that this street is serving its users. We'll be reporting back to Council in fall of 2021 with the results of our evaluations and any changes that we've made along the way, with recommendations on what should be the permanent design of the Danforth going forward.
We want people to come out and walk and be safe outside, and that was what the summer was. There are bumps and hiccups. They're being worked out. But overall, my goal is that we work to make this a permanent fixture, that people want to visit this area because it is a year-round destination.
I think I want everything to stay here. I think it gives a great atmosphere to the whole neighborhood.
I think it kind of proves that we can have nice things in Toronto too, you know, and if the legacy of what has happened here is that the city perhaps relaxes certain rules and lets things happen organically, and maybe we should be paying more attention to the benefits of letting people enjoy the sidewalk and really have a complete street.
They really talk about it all the time. They feel that we've transformed the Danforth into a true 2020 street because of the art, because of the culture that we're creating here, because of the beauty on the street, because the businesses have all gotten something out of this. Has been a win-win-win situation.
Destination Danforth has been fabulous because what it has done is really transformed one of our most beloved and most historic streets. Destination Danforth is a big win, and you know, you can fine-tune it, which we'll do, but it's a big win, and I think it's made for a better city and for a better Danforth, and we all love the Danforth.